a lot with your grandfather because he's the brother of my grandfather. And they are wildly different people. And I've thought about this often, so I'm glad that you brought this up, where I couldn't imagine having your grandfather as mine being me as a kid, because I would have told that guy several ways to fuck off and, whatever. And I would have never been allowed in the greenhouse. And I absolutely loved the greenhouse they had. Where my grandfather was wildly different, softer, caring, all of that. But his kids have led different lives, just like your grandfather's kids have led different lives. So it's all how we take those things and what we do with it. I think sometimes you have to have that shit happen somewhere for you to have some sort of perspective. Like, I grew up in a crazy childhood situation. That's it. Gonna leave it like that. You didn't. So black and white, we're just gonna leave it black and white sort of way. But you had that grandfather that had that thing for you to learn, for you then to turn and go, I don't want my kids to experience this. I know I have tendencies to do this, so now I need to fix that. That's a big thing for you to get to. How do you forgive your grandfather?
I think all people have any tendency to be as the quote unquote evil person, the addict, just what society thinks as completely wrong. So I definitely, like how I said, I have the tendency to be a little bitter. That is just knowing that he's no different than me. He just made different choices than me. And yeah, like his funeral was last year over COVID, and it was so strange. Like, how do you celebrate someone who didn't show love or celebration? So just being able to respect the fact that he did instill discipline in his children, and they all have grown up and succeeded in life despite him. Because it's a God thing, because no normal human would be able to forgive someone that flat out tells your father he's a failure. And it wasn't like, he was just nasty. I mean, that's the only way I can explain him. He was bitter at God and how his life turned out, and he didn't think that he had control over anything as far as like what job he got or the thoughts he had. So, and I mean, you only have the tools that you in your tool belt that you can work with. So he didn't have much. And I think that's kind of why I'm like, I mean, I definitely, in my adult life, distanced myself from him, because you don't want that negativity in your life. And you don't want your kids around it. So just being able to separate myself from that and just be like, that's all the man knows. Like, that's all he allowed himself to know. And it's a shame.
That's all he allowed himself to know.
Yeah.